Give everyone at your next event a super awesome mix with our mixtape cards. Each one comes with a personalized message and photo along with a QR code that takes them to your mix on whatever streaming service they use: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube. They're perfect for birthdays, weddings, graduations, and even holiday cards. Go to superawesomemix.com/mixtapes and bring back the magic of the mixtape at your next special occasion. Welcome back to another Super Awesome Mix. My name is Matt Sidhom, alongside my fellow Super Awesome Mix host, the host of What Are You Listening To? It is Jenn Tully. Jen, welcome in.
Hello. Glad to be here.
All right, we are going to do a new music mix, this time for the month of November. It is our last new music mix of the year. Next up, next month, we will do our best of 2025. I can't believe we've made it through another year, Jen. This is wild.
It's insane. Every time I look at the calendar and see that it's November, I'm really just kind of shocked and blown away. It doesn't seem possible.
Yes, but in spite of the time passing, I think we still continue to find great music. That's what we kind of marveled at going into this mix, was just, wow, still more great music out there.
Still lots of good stuff coming out here at the end of the year. And I'm going to caveat this episode like I did our last. If you're wondering why there is no Florence and the Machine on this playlist, I've been so dedicated to representing Sam's interests here. It's because over on Waylit, I have a whole album review of Everybody Scream, the new Florence and the Machine album. So if you're like Sam and I and you're huge fans, please check out this week's episode of What Are You Listening To, where we dig into the new Florence and the Machine album.
Yes, and that was an excellent episode. Great review.
Thank you. October was a big month for me between Taylor Swift and Florence, so I'm happy to be jumping into this November new music mix. But let's start with your first track. Your first song for the November new music mix is a song called "Fall Moon" by St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Yes, St. Paul and the Broken Bones. They are led by Paul Janeway. He is the Paul in St. Paul. I got to see these guys live in Dallas a couple of years ago. I mean, he's incredible. They're incredible. I mean, I just love their sound. They're so soulful. They're out of Alabama, weirdly enough. But yeah, I mean, this new album is very true to that sound. I mean, and so I listened. I couldn't wait. They released a couple singles early in the year, and I waited until they had the whole album out so I could listen to it and pick one song from it. And I went with this one, "Fall Moon," which is just it's true to their sound, and it's a nice little love song. I just call out the lyric that it just stuck with me from the first time I heard it. I can't wait to get old and just talk to you, which is just kind of perfect, I feel like.
I loved that line too. And I thought that this song was so amazingly sweet. Like, that's the note I just kept saying over and over. Like, it's so amazingly sweet. And it is. It's so soulful. His voice is so amazing. The funny thing is, whenever it first came on, for one hot second, like maybe the first few bars, I thought it was a Christmas song. I'm like, wait a minute, has Matt thrown Christmas music into this November new music mix? Because it starts out and I was like, oh, holiday song. Here we go. So that I was happy whenever I got in and saw that it was just this really beautiful love song.
Yeah, it would have also been odd with a title like "Fall Moon."
I know. We're dancing around the Christmas tree under the full moon, right? Like, we can make it work.
That's right. Oh, yeah. It's like an equinox thing. Yeah. There you go. Solstice.
But I also thought that this song was perfect for this time of year because it's, I love the message that it shares, that sort of love is like all year round, not just during cuffing season, when everybody's looking to couple up. And so I did think it was like a really appropriate song for the playlist this month.
All right. Your first track, you've got "Private" by the Neighbourhood.
Oh my goodness. So this is a band I wasn't sure we were going to get more new music from. I've mentioned it on Waylit before. I love the Neighbourhood. I have since they very first came out. Most people know them by their song "Sweater Weather." which is maybe like one of my far down the list of favorite tracks of theirs. Is not even one of my favorite songs, but I do love the band. And they have a new album coming out on November 14th called Ultrasonic that I think is going to be so, so good if the first three tracks that they've released from it are any indication, Private being one of them. Their last album was an album called Chip Chrome and the Monotones. I talked a lot about that album on What Are You Listening To? And then they had kind of like a weird dust up, right? They had Brandon Fried, their drummer, had some trouble on the road. They were touring with the Marias, and there were some allegations about some things that happened. He got dismissed from the band. He checked himself into rehab. He publicly apologized, and now he's back, and they seem to have it together again. So I'm certainly not condoning his previous behavior, and I'm all for people getting second chances and trying to be better versions of themselves. So I hope that this is what he needed to get there, because I love this song. I just think it's so fun. I love the sound effects in the background, the shh, keeping it private. Like, I just think it's so cool the way they do it. So I think that this is going to be like a big hit for them. And I hope that this album leads to an amazing tour that I am able to get tickets to, because this is a band I have not seen live that I am dying to see live. What did you think of this song? Are you a Neighbourhood fan? We've never talked about them, I don't think.
I looked it up because just based on sound, I was like, I'm not sure if I know these guys. And then when I saw Sweater Weather, I was like, oh, I know that song, right? So yeah, that's definitely their biggest hit. But yeah, I just thought this was so unique. I love the beat, and then reading up on it, the fact that it sounds like part of it was recorded on the lead singer's phone, and then they were using GarageBand, and I was like, this is kind of cool, because that's stuff you'd see from like an up and that would be Sam and I have always joked about. Could we put together like a song based on GarageBand and some other tools out there that would get some streams on Spotify or whatever, right? Like, could you cobble something together? But obviously, we're not professional musicians, right? So it was cool to hear like an established band like this kind of use those tools to really good success, because I just thought it was a really fun, like, it was just a really fun song. And kind of, you could take all sorts of meanings, I think, from the lyrics. Like, is this some sort of affair they're trying to keep private? I feel like one side of this partnership is maybe a little bit more private than the other.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's so much to dig into there. And a lot of their songs are like that. I didn't think I would ever love a song as much. One of my favorite songs by them is a song called Devil's Advocate off of that Chip Chrome and the Monotones album. And it's kind of my go-to. That's the one I go back to. And now this one's maybe definitely, maybe not surpassing it, but it's up there with it. So I'm happy that we have new music from them. But speaking of bands that I love, your second track is from another favorite band of mine. And the third song on our playlist this week is a song called Gone by Haim.
Yeah, I think we featured the song Down to Be Wrong earlier this year. And they were just releasing a few singles off of this new album. But I just listened. They finally came out with the whole album, listened to the whole thing. And just like all their I just love this band. And I love listening to their albums kind of beginning to end. This one's cool. I picked this one just because they sample the song Freedom by George Michael, which might be my favorite George Michael song. I'm not sure. But yeah, like I love that song. So it was cool to hear it with this and just sort of a new framing of it. And then I just love the message here. Like, they're just kind of like, screw it. Like, we're going to do what we want to do. Like the Gone part of this, I wasn't sure what to expect just based on the title. For sort of like, it didn't tip its hand on the theme, but then you get to the sort of freedom interpolation, and then kind of the lyrics, and they're just kind of like, you know what, we're gonna do what we want to do. Like, what you were telling us to do isn't working, and I just thought that was awesome too, because this is probably the point in their career where that's about right,
Yeah. And they're an established band at this point. I mean, these women have done so much. I mean, I can't even list off everything that's like flying through my head right now, from acting to consulting on soundtracks. SD Haim was a big consultant for the music in the White Lotus series. They're all sort of out doing. Danielle produced the album. They're all out there doing things. The other sister, I'm like, why is her name escaping me right right now, but she's an actress. You know, she was in the
Alana,
Paul
right?
Thomas Anderson movie. Yeah, Alana Haim. Yeah, that's right. Alana did not Mystic Pizza, Licorice Pizza. You know, like they're all doing so much. They're so involved.
You showed
Right,
your age there.
wrong decade.
It's Mystic Pizza,
I did.
right?
Oh, all right. I'm going to continue to show my age throughout this playlist. You just wait. It's about to get good, listeners. It's about to get good. But I like you. I love this band. I'm so glad you and Sam have sort of embraced them along with me as well. And I also love that this was, you know, the George Michael sample in this. I love the song Freedom. And he's having a moment right now too. Can we talk about how he was sampled on Life of a Showgirl as well? She has a song on that album called Father Figure.
That's right.
That is not a cover and isn't even a sample, but it sounds like the way she sings the chorus is vaguely reminiscent enough that she gave him a writing credit for it, as did the Haim sisters on this song. So
I was going to say, yeah, she kind of tipped her hat to George Michael on that one, even though I was like, there's no way she's doing a cover when I saw that on there. But yeah, that's cool that she kind of gave him a little tribute.
Yeah, and like I said, that both bands gave him writing credit on the song. I love that. I think that's like turnabout's fair play. Like, you know, they're doing it the right way. And so I love that George Michael's kind of having a moment right now with these female artists that I love. So, and I think George Michael would love that too. Like, I think that he would be stoked to see that his music is sort of living on and being rearranged. And I mean, you know, there's a lot we could say about Father Figure from this year after Baby Girl too. So he's having a moment.
All right, track 4. It is Sideways, and this one's by Balu Brigada.
Yes, this song is from their debut album. It's called Portal, which was released at the end of August, actually. And they have a couple of EPs that they've released, but this is their first full-length album. And I love these guys. This is a band from New Zealand. They formed in 2016, and they're led by brothers that are multi-instrumentalists. And they're just a fun band. If you've not gotten into Balu Brigada or listened to any of their music, get into it. I think you'll dig it. They have, you know, their songs don't all sound the same. They've got kind of a wide variety that stays in this, you know, a similar genre, but it does sound different. It's not all the same. And this song is just such a bop. It makes me happy. Like, I feel like anytime I turn it on, I just start to smile. And I love the line that says, whatever happened to a fresh start? Oh, maybe civil is a lost art. And I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. Were you familiar with these guys? Did you have any idea about Balu Brigada?
I had no sense of them prior to this song, but I love the beat. Just right off the bat, I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, I'm into this. And then I wrote down that same lyric you just called out because I was like, that's really brilliant and appropriate, not just for this feels like an argument between like a couple. But I mean, I think generally we could probably say whatever happened to a fresh start, maybe civil is a lost start. I feel like generally in public, we're kind of probably facing that. But the other line I called out is, can we just put it to bed because you're looking at me sideways? And again, it's just, this whole song just feels like this. Can we just get over this? Can we just move on? And then whoever he's with is like, nope, we're not doing that. And so I just thought that was cool. And it's over this sort of happy beat. So if anything, like, it's just going to put you in a good mood, at least as far as like listening to it. But it's a cool song as well. So yeah, really interested. And I like, I'm interested in digging into more of their music on this debut album.
Yeah, check them out for sure. They have another great song on the album that's called So Cold. That's another hit that I like off of this album they just released. And I've been getting served these guys a lot on Spotify. And so I think I've been listening to a lot of Almost Monday and Royal Otis, and they kind of sit in that genre. So I've been listening to them a lot. Check them out. I think you'll be pleased if you do, listeners.
Nice.
All right. Well, that takes us to track 5. Matt, I'm so excited to talk about this one. Your next pick is a song called Troubled Paradise by Tuk Smith and the Restless Heart.
Yeah, these guys, so kind of a cool story. They had like a record deal, and then they booked this stadium tour with Motley Crue and Def Leppard. That was like right off the bat. Okay. But that was at the beginning of 2020. And then COVID hit. So their album gets released. and then the stadium tour gets canceled. Any promotion around the album kind of dies out. They actually end up parting ways with their label. So it's like all of these things just fall apart. Well, Tuk Smith is like, all right, well, I'm going to start my own label. It's called Gypsy Rose Records. And they decide to release this album under that. There's actually an EP that they have coming out. But I mean, I listened to the whole thing and just couldn't get enough. They have such a cool, they were going to tour with like Def Leppard and Motley Crue, and they kind of reminded me of something from the 80s, this sort of like classic rock kind of sound to them. And they're just kind of fun. And this song in particular is just sort of this classic rock and roll story about a young couple trying to make it, I don't know. It just reminded me of so many songs from a certain era, but kind of updated. And I just really enjoyed it. So it was a fun discovery for me.
Oh, this one is for all the like 80s and 90s babies out there. If you thought I was showing my age by the Mystic Pizza reference, well, here I go again. Because when I first listened to this, and I had to go, I saw the name of the song, but I didn't see the name of the artist. And I promise you, Matt, and I don't know, I think you're old enough that you'll remember this song and this artist, but I was like, is this Ugly Kid Joe? Is that what is happening right here?
Yeah.
Do you remember that song? I Hate Everything About You.
Yes.
Right?
Everything About You. Yeah.
That's the one. And so when I first heard it, I'm like, is that guy back? That's immediately who I thought it was. I'm like, this is crazy. So then once I saw that it was not him, but they sounded so much like him, I was all in. I'm like, this took me right back to like, middle school, high school, early high school days.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I feel like I do have to say, I think Sam would not love this song.
He'd hate it. I brought it for you. I brought it for you, Jen.
Thank you. I'm like, I gotta represent Sam here and say, I think he'd have words about this. But for me, I was all in. I love the nostalgia.
He would say something. I think he would say something like, "Oh, it was a very nice song, but I'm not sure if it was for me."
Right. Right. I was just like, that's all upon first listen, that's all I could think of is like, oh, Sam is not going to like this one. So we're still representing him, even though he's here in spirit always.
That's right. That's right. But, I think one song he would love is actually your next pick. Okay. So this is something, you're not showing your age here. Okay. This is very much an updated track. This is Stardust by Big Wild.
Oh, if you guys like, if you never take a recommendation from me, take this one. I love this song. I think it's so good. And Big Wild is actually an artist named Jackson Stell, and his stage name is Big Wild. He's an American electronic music producer, songwriter, vocalist, engineer. He does it all. And he had an album called Wild Child that this song is on, that released at the end of, I think it released end of August, maybe. But I have just been like listening to it over and over and over again. And I love this particular track. It kind of gives me Folk Implosion vibes they had a big hit called Natural One that was on the Kids soundtrack. But that's what I first thought of when I heard it. I'm like, oh, it sounds kind of Folk Implosion-y. I dig that. And then as a performer, he is apparently insane. His live shows where he's like switching back and forth between, drum pads, synth, keyboards, singing. Like he kind of reminds me a little bit too of a modern day. Again, I'm making lots of references this episode, but he reminds me a little bit of New Radicals. Remember when Get What You Give came out? Like this kind of feels a little bit like an updated, like for the now times, for 2025 version of New Radicals.
That's a great comparison. I love New Radicals. I think I've brought almost all the songs on their one album to the mix at some point or the other. I found a theme where they could fit under. But this was a really cool track. And I think the thing I appreciated about it was that, it's titled Stardust. The lyrics are very like referential to that type of thing. But then if you drop the lyrics, the sound of it is just so ethereal that just kind of works on its own. So I just think it's always cool when there's that matchup that it's like, you don't even need to tell me. You could call this Stardust, just make it an instrumental, and I'd be in. I think it totally works. Yeah, so I think that that was, I don't know, it just worked well. I like that about it.
I agree. I think that this is a really cool song. So definitely check this one out. And like I said, if you like this song, go and check out the rest of their music. It all kind of lands in the same spot, but is super good.
Hey folks, quick break to talk about Early Bird Morning Cocktail. If you struggle to get going in the morning, or if you just want to get even more done, this is the solution. You get a little natural caffeine, some hydration, some neurotropics, but no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, not even any calories, and it tastes great. I love the blood orange mimosa and the blue ras chiller. They have other mixes on there, including ones that'll help you get to sleep if that's where you're losing time. And today you could save 10% with the promo code SUPERMIX10. That's SUPERMIX and the number 10. Go to clubearlybird.com today and get started getting more done every morning while listening to your favorite podcast. Now back to the show.
All right. Our next track, we're kind of switching gears here, getting a little more serious with the song called Gun in Every Home by Bruce Springsteen.
Obviously, there's the Springsteen movie that's out in theaters right now. I have not seen it, and I think it's getting kind of mixed reviews. But it's specifically about the time in his life where Bruce wrote the album Nebraska, which was very much a departure from his normal music. We talked about Nebraska in season 2 of The Battle, where we're doing a true crime battle, because the title track, Nebraska, refers specifically to the Merriweather crime spree of that time period, and that kind of inspired that song by Bruce Springsteen. But he recorded that album in his kitchen. Like, he essentially recorded a demo, and that eventually became the real thing, because when he brought the band into it, he just didn't think it worked, right? Like, it just didn't have the same resonance that he wanted with this album. But nobody ever heard those full tracks with the bands and everything until now. So in concert with the movie release, they released what they're calling Electric Nebraska. So here's the Nebraska album in its, they put 4 CDs out. So they have the kind of Nebraska album as we know it. They put out Electric Nebraska, where the whole band's with them. And then they put out a bunch of other songs he recorded at the time, some of which would later become part of the Born in the USA album, which of course was, a monster hit, including the title track, Born in the USA. I say all that because we did get a few new tracks, and this is one of them. Okay, Gun in Every Home. And I just thought this was an incredibly written song. And thinking about having, written this in 1980, 81, 82, somewhere in that area, I'm just going to call out, I could read all the lyrics, but just calling out the third verse in particular. Sometimes I want to take my little boy and hold him in my arms, shield him from all pain, protect him from all harm. From a world gone crazy now, from a world that's gone wrong, all wrong, but I don't know what to do. No, I don't know what to do. And I just thought that was, one, incredible songwriting, but also just like, it kind of blew my mind that it was written 45 years ago, but somebody listening to it now could probably completely relate if you have children. So anyway, the whole thing's great. I haven't seen the movie. I can't speak to that, but I will say this Electric Nebraska release is worth your time.
Well, I'm glad that you went through that, because all of my questions about this song were related to like, okay, is this new? Is this old music that just never got released? Is it? So I'm glad you cleared that up for me. And you know what my first note on here was? Is this a protest song? Like, that's what I felt like. I'm like, and now knowing that it was written in 1988, I'm like, wow. This is another instance where I'll say, look, you don't have to love Bruce Springsteen, but you have to respect the man. Like, that's insane that a song written 45 years ago, especially about a very specific topic, is still relevant to the point that I'm questioning if it is a legitimate protest song for now. Right? Like, that's amazing to me. I think that speaks to a once in a lifetime talent.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of blew my mind that he had written this so long ago, and I was listening to it going, yeah, I could kind of, I have a son. I know exactly what this means, like it hits home. So yeah. Hey, let's shift gears. Let's shift gears a little bit here for track 8. Okay. Big shift, actually. We might get the bends from this. Okay. This one is called Telephone Busy by 5 Seconds of Summer.
That's right. For the kids out there, 5 sauce. It's so funny every time I hear. That's how my daughter and her friends refer 5 sauce. But yeah, this song will be on their new album called "Everyone's a Star." That's releasing on November 14th. And I'm not a huge 5 Seconds of Summer fan. Again, I do hear them because I have teenagers running around in my life here with my daughter and her friends. But it totally, the first time I heard their music and then I heard this song specifically, it was really giving me vibes of Future Love Sex Sounds by Justin Timberlake, that
Oh
album
yeah,
and the
yeah.
songs that are on it. And so that's what I love about this song. And I hope that the album ends up being that way, where it's just it's not deep. You're not looking for lyrical meaning here. It just makes you want to grab your girls and go dancing. Like it just makes you want to
Hmm.
have a good time. And so I really I think that this is just a super fun song, and I'm excited about the rest of the album. And I feel like I really dug into like the songs from Down Under category this week, because this is also an Australian band, whereas Balu Brigada is from New Zealand. So I was staying in that region a little bit this week. But this is a super fun, dancey song. And if you're only familiar with 5 Seconds of Summer, from some of their bigger hits, and you don't love them, or you feel like maybe they're too teeny bopper for you, maybe give this one a listen, especially if you like Justin Timberlake, because I think that this album is going to end up being a little bit more dancey like that.
I was gonna say this is. I think this is a really fun song. It felt like a summer song, right? And we're getting
Yeah.
it in November, but it just feels like I feel like some corporation's gonna pay them enough money to use this in an ad campaign next summer. But yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
fun song. It should be part of your spin class. It should be part of your morning routine, and just whatever. It's gonna put you in a great mood. So great pick.
Yeah, this was one too that I thought, well, if we are representing Sam, this is one I think he'd add to his dance, or is one of his running mixes, right? Like I think he could run to this one. All right. Our next track is a song called Asking for a Friend by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, Jen, you've been holding down the fort for Sam by touting Florence and the Machine. I'm going to hold it down by including this new Foo Fighters single. Okay. They announced a tour coming in 2026. People think there's a new album coming, but there's been no official announcement. I think this song was really cool. I mean, just great rock sound like we're used to, great vocals. There's a great guitar solo near the end. And the question they're asking for a friend: is this real or is this the end? And I'm not sure if this is a reflection of the current state of the world or just the current state of their band, right? Because
Yeah.
they've been around for a while, and some people are like, is this it for Foo Fighters, right? And so I think it's cool when songs kind of have that dual interpretation like that. But at the very least, it's just great rock music, and I think you'd appreciate it just for that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Foo Fighters are kind of hit or miss for me. Like the songs that I love of theirs, I really love. And then everything else is kind of like, okay, yeah, it's the Foo Fighters song. And I was nervous about listening to this one because I know people love the Foo Fighters for Dave Grohl. I love the Foo Fighters for Taylor Hawkins. I was a big Taylor Hawkins fan. And so
Mm.
it was really sad for me when we lost Taylor Hawkins. And I think Ilan Rubin does a great job here from a drumming perspective. I think those are really difficult shoes to fill anyway. Like, in Dave Grohl's band, for those that somehow don't know, Dave Grohl was the drummer for Nirvana originally. And so I think that's a high pressure position to be in for any drummer for the Foo Fighters. So I think that Ruben did a great job on this song. I don't know. There was a part of me that selfishly wanted them to kind of be done, like Led Zeppelin, when John Bonham died, they just sort of like hung it up. And so I kind of thought that would be it for the Foo Fighters, where, Dave Grohl would be like, I've been through this with Nirvana. I've been through this with Foo. Like, I think maybe we're done. So I say all of that to say I did love that kind of all featured in this song too. Like, I think they're asking the same questions that we all are about the band and the future state of it. So I like Asking for a Friend. This was a Foo Fighters track that I put on my yes list.
Nice. All right. So your next pick, and this one threw me off for a second because I thought it might be a cover song, and then I realized I was reading the title incorrectly. So I'm going to read it the correct way here. Track 10 is Penny Lame, and it is by Noga Erez.
That is right. So this song came out as a single in September, and Noga Erez she's an Israeli electronic musician and producer, and I love her. I discovered her back in probably like 2021, I think is when it came out. She had an album come out called Kids that had a song called Views on it that I love. I'm like, look for Views. I imagine that's going to show up somewhere on What Are You Listening To this season, because I originally, like I said, discovered the album back in 2021, just resurfaced it again, and have been just so getting into it. And so when I found that she had a new single that came out in September, I just like jumped all over it. So this is a super this is an interesting track for her. You know, I think that she kind of switches back and forth between genres. Sometimes her songs sound dancey, sometimes they're a little more rappy, sometimes they're super electronic. But I just think that she's a great artist that people need to check out. Even if you don't dig into everything, check out Views, the song Views from the Kids album, and this one. And if you don't like it, okay, you can pass and move along, but give it a try. I think you might be into it. Were you familiar with her at all?
I had not heard her. What's amazing,
Okay.
just hearing you describe it, is one of my notes was, this is a really interesting sound, and then I wrote, it's not quite rap or electronic, and you just ran down. She kind of switches genres a little bit between rap, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm still got a good enough ear to figure that one out. But yeah, I mean, but in that sense, it like keeps your attention, right? Because it is sort of, vacillating a little bit between sounds and genres like that. And I think too, lyrically, it just sounds like someone who's really frustrated with the lack of attention she's getting from her partner. I don't know if I'm hearing that correctly, but that's kind of what I was hearing there. It's just interesting. It's something I want to dig in more into her music, because I'm like, there's something to hear for sure.
Yeah, listen to the song Views. I think you'll really dig that one. It's a very, very cool song with a fun, funky sound. And also, too, she opened for Florence and the Machine in 2022 at Madison Square Garden. And so I'm also hopeful that if Florence, well, we know Florence is touring for Everybody Screams. I hope maybe we get a tour appearance as well on the Everybody Screams tour. All right. Well, we're going to keep it in the powerful female vocalist lane with our second to last track, with a song called "If the World Burns Down" by Kacey Musgraves.
All right, so this was my favorite of all of my new tracks. It is from the soundtrack to season 2 of the Netflix show Nobody Wants This, which, similar to the new Bruce Springsteen movie, I haven't seen this show, and there's of course a zillion shows out there, but anyway, I saw it come up on my Netflix suggestions. That's not what led me to this. It was actually more the Kacey Musgraves has a new song kind of led me to this.
Yeah.
So I was really excited. I was like, all right, let me give this a listen. And I just thought it was an amazing song. And it's similar to Fall Moon. It's a love song, but it's real simple, but not a cliched message. It's just, so if everything falls apart, just know you were it for me. And I'm like, that's just perfect. It's not really sappy at all, but it says everything, right? And I was just like, this is such a great song. So it's one I've listened to, I don't know how many times already, but one I'll probably continue to listen to. So yeah, this was my favorite of my pick.
This was my favorite of all of our picks, actually. I love this song. This is my favorite song on our playlist this week, for sure. And Kacey Musgraves just knows how to sing a ballad. I mean, this brought me back to like Love is a Wild Thing off of her Golden Hour album, which is a no-skip album for me. Like, I will listen to every single song on that album over and over again and be happy every time. And this song just brought me back to that. Just a beautiful love song. I just think it's perfect. So this one is, it's going to be on constant repeat. It already is from the first moment you sent it over, and I know that I'm going to be over and over and over again. And it also made me want to check out the rest of the soundtrack for the show. I'm like, I think if this song is on that soundtrack, I want to know what else they have going on.
Yeah, I might even check out the show itself. I mean, if the soundtrack's this good, right?
Right.
But we'll start
with
the
music. That's the third step, much to the... Okay. Right. Sorry, Netflix. I'm here for the music.
All right. Well, let's finish this off. We've joked about you showing your age, but I think you probably really do it on this last pick. Okay, but I'm happy you did it. Okay, track 12. This is appropriately enough. 12 Gates by Cheap Trick.
Okay. Yes, I know I'm showing my age, but I have a reason. So I'm going to get into it here. This is from Cheap Trick, has a new album. It's called All Washed Up. Which also drops on November 14th. Like some of the other albums or songs featured on the show this week, their albums are coming out. November 14th is going to be a big new music day. But this is their first album since 2021. And I did not know that. I had to go look it up. I'm like, is this the first Cheap Trick album since 1985? The answer is no. So I'm definitely not a super fan in terms of like, I haven't followed this band their whole life. Of course, I know like the popular Cheap Trick songs. I like Cheap Tricks. But I added this song, one, because I think it is a good one. I think it's representative of the band. But I wanted to see what the kids thought of this one. And I'll tell you why. I have always thought from the very first moment I heard Arcade Fire, I think Wim Butler, the lead singer of Arcade Fire, and Robin Zander have really similar voices. And so I'm wondering if a kid just listened to this and they didn't know, that Cheap Trick was a band that their parents listened to. I'm wondering if they would think like, oh, this kind of sounds Arcade Fire-ish, so that's really why I put it on there. Is I'm hoping that there's some interesting discussion we get maybe on social media about this song. And if it does still translate, or if I'm just feeling, the nostalgia vibes again and wanting to squeeze them into this Arcade Fire. But I really did, as I listened to this, I thought if this came out as an Arcade Fire song, if you added just, dialed the electronic up a smidge, like I feel like kids might be into it, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, first of all, I'm with you in that I was like, hey, well, first new album in 30 years? And then it's like, nope, they came out with one like 3 years ago. Okay, well, just haven't been keeping up, but that's okay. Yeah.
I missed that one.
But I like the parallel. I think you might have something there. I think, there's probably some influence of Cheap Trick on Arcade Fire. And so that would be kind of fascinating to hear what people think. But yeah, I do think there's probably some crossover there for sure. But just on its own, I think this is a good song. And I'm kind of interested to dig into this new album. I thought it sounded really good. And I also think it's kind of cool when these older artists come out with these songs. And this song just seemed so full of hope. And I was like, look at this. These guys have probably been through a lot of stuff. And they're certainly on the back end of their careers and probably their lives. But it's like, man, like I thought it was just really cool that they'd put out a song like this. That was just, I felt like full of hope. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just really cool. And I was surprised I liked it as much as I did.
Honestly, I was too. Like I said, I didn't realize they had new music 3 years ago. And so it's not like I've been tracking them since the 80s, but I thought this was a good song. And it reminded me of some of the Cheap Trick songs that I do love that were popular from back in the day. And so, yes, the song stands alone for sure. Give it a listen. I do like its hopeful message, but I did find the Arcade Fire parallel kind of interesting. And I'm wondering if I'm the only other person that has thought of them as similar bands.
All right. Well, there you have it. Another new music mix, our last new music mix of 2025. Next month, we will be back with our best of 2025. That'll be a 2-week affair to wrap up the season of Super Awesome Mix. You can join us on social media on Instagram and Threads at Super Awesome Mix and YouTube at Super Awesome Mix. Of course, you could check out Jenn's show, What Are You Listening To, with new episodes every Monday. So please go out there and support her. And in the meantime, hey, we've got one, maybe 2 more new mixes this year, along with our best of. So we got some work to do. So we'll get to work on our next mixes. So for Jenn, this is Matt, and we'll see you next time. Super Awesome Mix is brought to you by DLM. Make shopping easy with DLM, the one-stop shop for all your casual clothing needs. Shop dlmsupplyco.com and enter the promo code AWESOME at checkout to save 15% off your first purchase. That's dlmsupplyco.com.